Good morning, everyone. Gosh, it's the last week of the year. It's Wealth Wellness Wednesday. Got so much to catch up on. But good morning, everyone. This is Carroll-Sue, aka Naughty Boss, live with two
Sistas. Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Janis, aka Wellness Diva 5.0. We have a little alfalfa thing going on top here, but that's okay. And for those who are listening, I'm talking about my hair. It's always a crazy due day. But you know what? As I was mentioning to my sister before we got on, of course it's cold. It's cold everywhere. It was 50 degrees here in my office and now it's up to 56. So that's a good thing. That means that, and I got my little heater on. But, I just want to say to everyone out there who may be traveling, who is that person that is always cold, layer up. Just remember, it's also very, very important to hydrate, even when you're cold.
Right. And a lot of people, obviously they gravitate to the hot chocolate, the hot tea, the hot coffee, whatever that warm, fuzzy drink is. You do want to make sure you're still getting that intake of water because you got to keep your blood pulse running very smoothly and everything else. But today's, we talked about the hecticness of the Christmas time, Hanukkah time, where you're, whether you're hosting, whether you're visiting, whether you're traveling, and all the hustle and bustle that comes with that. And that's, one of the reasons why we kind of took a few days, well, actually it's been a week since we've been on. And, we decided that, people are just in that, it's kind of a odd time in some regards, which sounds bizarre when we're talking about the holidays, how could it be an odd time? You'll start seeing posts about, literally the day after Christmas and sometimes even Christmas Eve, the tree is gone. And we're firm believers, and a lot of people don't realize that the 12 days of Christmas is not before Christmas. It actually starts on Christmas Day. So today technically is, I believe, the fourth day of Christmas. And a lot of people kind of get confused on that and why people still keep up their tree. And those that are Christian understand the full true meaning of the 12 days of Christmas and what it leads up to, which is to the three kings, the Epiphany, and we do randomly, you'll see a post here there like, how long do you keep your Christmas tree up? But then the weirdness comes in where now you're like, okay, you're on that last week of that year, you're reflecting, there's a lot of reflecting going on. And you will see that in a lot of people's posts where they're kind of out with the old, in with the new, walk away from this, start this. And too many times we let the significance of one door opening and new door closes, and that's kind of that feeling with the end of a year going into a new year, without the actual proper reflection. And what I mean by proper reflection, because this also ties in with Wealth Wellness Wednesday. When we talk about Wealth Wellness Wednesday, we talk about a couple different things, and part of that is also your mindset and having a healthy mind, especially during these times. So when I see all those type of what I call reflection posts, they're not truly reflecting in the true meaning of really understanding where you're letting one year go and embracing the new year. There's nothing wrong with letting things go. Number one, it is a time to reflect on what is valuable, what's impactful, what adds to, the value of your life. And I think a lot of times people start getting, that kind of feeling like, oh, I haven't heard from this person in a while. This person doesn't treat me nicely. Things in my community are driving me cuckoo. And we're forgetting that ultimately, and this doesn't change going from the end of one year to the new year, we're not in control, people. We are literally not in control of those things. And I wanted to share, because a lot of people have been actually reaching out regarding that. Like, what do I do? I'm frustrated with this relationship. And how do I handle this? How do I handle that? And what I tell people is I have 3 boxes, and they're visual boxes. And I really suggest, a lot of people are visual people, they're visual learners. When they see it, it makes more sense to them, kind of thing. So I have 3 boxes. And in those 3 boxes, yes, there are definitely one box that I put in, whether it's a physical, like writing, like a little note to myself, or I visualize putting it in there. Things that I have to discard. Now, things that you can discard could be, situations, your way of thinking, your mindset, cleaning out that closet and then writing that down and sticking it in there. I'm discarding these things that, I just don't fit into anymore. And I don't care about it, whether they're too small or too big. I don't care about them anymore. And sometimes it's actually, and I don't like to use the word discard when I'm talking about relationships, but sometimes you have to delete people. So delete sounds better than discard. Discard sounds almost tragic to a certain extent, but deleting meaning they're not adding any value that makes me happy. They're not adding to the quality of the person I want to become. And it's not a selfish thing to do. And those would be people, when I say delete them, those would be people that maybe a traumatic experience happened or a major, just something where we've agreed, or at least separately we've agreed that it can't go on any further. So that goes in that box. Then I have a second box, which is kind of like a pause box. I'm going to get to it, but I need to take a break from. And also understanding that break of whatever the thing is, whether it's with a person, place, or thing, may end up in my delete box. But I want to pause, I want to reflect, I want to see, kind of write a note to myself or journal about it. Does it really add value? Even just talking it out to myself in the mirror, or like I'm doing right now, does it add value to my life? Does it spark creativity? Does it spark to action? Do I feel comfort in it? And if it doesn't, I don't necessarily put it in the delete or discard box, because I also want to pay it reverence that in that moment or that space or that time that it was in my life, that it did add value. That, maybe things have changed, but it's not that I just want to throw it away per se. I recognize the value it was for what it was, and it always will hold a special place in my heart, but it's time to put it in the box. And then my first box, so that's 3, 2, I'm going backwards, 3, 2, 1, my number 1 box are things that I want to create, that I want to make sure that I do hold dear to my heart. Again, people, place, or thing that I know contribute to my well-being, contribute to my happiness, contribute to my growth. Those are things that, are those special relationships, those special places, those special momentums that I want to remember and keep them close to my heart. So I work with 3 boxes. I've done it in reverse fashion because I'm seeing somebody, I got to walk away from this. I got to delete that. I've got to discard that. And a lot of people, if you listen to or actually read the comments, some people, oh, that's really harsh. People forget that it's okay to check in with ourselves of what we're surrounding ourselves with. It's not selfish for self-care. It's not selfish to reevaluate what's important that adds value to our life. So it's just a visual way for me to deal with it. I'm hoping that will help so many people that are kind of struggling. And it's usually this time of year that it pops up. Like, where am I going? There's the big reflection of our life. So you think, Jan, I know I gave a mouthful with all of that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's okay to kind of check in with yourself and say, hey, this relationship isn't working, or, let me reach out to this person. I think last week I was talking about, maybe some of you haven't heard from a long time. Sometimes we think, well, that person hasn't reached out to me. Well, did I reach out to them? Like, put yourself in their shoes. And I reached out to a lot of people, and I just heard back from one, and oh my God, I'm so sorry. I got distracted with the holidays. I'm like, it's okay.
Right.
I wanted that person to know, hey, I'm thinking about you. Hope you're doing well. And for me, it's not about boxes. I actually use circles. I love circles. And my favorite number is 5. So I usually have 5 circles, and I think of myself in the middle of the 5 circles. And sometimes the circle name changes, and a lot of times it's depending on the season. Because we typically go, for me anyways, go through this type of thing during the different seasons. Of course, we were just talking about how cold I was and what the temperature was. And for a lot of people, they stay inside, they stay in their home. So you don't get out a lot to see your family or friends. So I think it's really different for everybody, but I just want to let you know it's okay to do that. You don't have to feel the ball and chain, so to speak, like, oh, I got to carry this relationship. It's really tying me down. And in actuality, when you come to your circle or whatever it may be for you or your box, and you realize that is not working for you, it's okay to say, going to put this one on hold, or I'm going to discard it, or it's going to go in circle number 4, whatever it is for you, it's okay.
Yeah, and I agree with you. It is hard, and I always tell people, just as you chatted about, reach out to that person again. Now, that does not mean that you're the one, because we know everyone focuses on the relationship of a couple, but they're forgetting that relationships with family and friends is also a commitment. And it does take effort, just like your couple relationship. You got to put in a lot of effort. Let's be real. But your family and friends, you also have to put in that effort. And if you find that you're the one that is the leader of that, maybe that's your strength, which that's okay. But if you feel like, okay, I have done that, Carroll-Sue, I'm reaching out to this person, they're not responding. I sent them a card, they didn't acknowledge it. I've left them a phone call, they don't call back. I've texted them. Well, those are signals that they're in a different space right now. So don't automatically assume that it's about you. And it might be, guess what? It might be about you. And that's okay too. Everyone, and everyone goes, well, people change. I don't think people actually change. People are who they are. I really think it's circumstances or the environment or what they're surrounding themselves with that the change may appear to be that it's a change. And sometimes, people will also use the term, which I think is probably one of the most, I guess you can see it both ways. I don't believe people outgrow people. People don't outgrow people. Either you've really been more in touch with your belief system, and you realize, wow, I didn't realize that their belief system was this. It's so different from mine. And that may not occur overnight. That may not even occur over a year's spans. You may not realize that till years later. But if it really doesn't add value and you've put the effort out there, you say, oh, I value this person, or I value this place, this thing. I'm putting in the effort to make sure that I nourish it and it adds value, but I'm not feeling like I'm getting it in return. It's okay to let that piece go. Put it in the circle or the box or whatever you want to do with it. And I think far too often people just, have this thing in their brain, which leads me to, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. It's a matter of how you use it. And are you adding value to others too? Because relationships are effort. If we're specifically talking about relationships take a lot of effort. Giving oneself care takes a lot of effort. But there's nothing wrong with it. It is not selfish. We need to do that. We always want to make sure that we're surrounding ourselves with visual goals that inspire us for growth. Really have those relationships where they bring out maybe the creative side to you, the artistic side of you, the feisty side of you, the funny side of you, all those things that encompass adding value. So I think if we look at things, where are they adding value and simplify? And I think too, as you get older, I think you just simplify more.
Well, yeah, you certainly do simplify a lot more. I know, there's been a lot of conversation over the last few weeks about, downsizing or getting things a lot more organized. And I think a lot of people are going through that, whether it's in relationships or in your home, trying to get rid of things that no longer serve you. And it could be that favorite pair of jeans that you had maybe you've had in your closet for 20 years. It's still up on your shelf, but you just can't get rid of it, right? So whatever, yeah. Well, actually, no, I don't have 20-year jeans. I got rid of all that stuff when I moved to Connecticut, but
no, I have 2 pairs. And I want to say they were probably, gosh, one was when we early on in our marriage, so that would have been in the 80s. It has a little bit of flare, and actually, the flare jean has come back out, and they're just, to me, it's like a symbol, so I don't want to get rid of them. It's a symbol of something I'm working on. So, there'll be a time when I get rid of them for sure. Because they're a little bit, they're like a low rate. That's the other weird thing, sidebar on nothing about nothing. The different waists. So they got that, like, I don't even think they make the hip hugger anymore. I don't even know what they would even call it now. But, then you have the low rise, you have the high rise, you have the high waist. So confusing. But, that's part of the whole jean
up here,
up on your shelf, because you just don't you're different shape, different size, different season. You're like, oh, these will work for this season, but they're certainly not going to work for that season. Are you frozen? Can you hear?
You're freezing up. Let me.
You're freezing up too.
Yeah, I can see it.
Well, we can hear each other. That's good.
How's that? Can you see me and hear me? Okay.
I can hear you. You're moving in slow-mo, but I can hear you. So okay. We're making progress.
Poor computer hasn't worked in a week, and now it's a little chilly here, so maybe that's the issue. But going with what you were saying, it's a season, right? We start thinking of what can we discard, what can we get rid of, what is that thing that we just can't get rid of yet? Like, I have a lot of that stuff, but and I try to ask myself as I'm going through things or come across things, like, okay, do I really need this? Like, for instance, I think I was telling somebody last week, it was so weird wearing a regular pair of pants because I wear yoga pants and I have so many pairs of pants. Do I really need that many pair of pants? No. So I'm starting to think in terms of that. Okay, maybe just keep, obviously I love black. So I'll probably keep black of something and everything that I have, because that's like one of my favorite colors besides purple. But, it's that time where we start thinking of those things. A lot of people are thinking year end. Oh my gosh, got to start get caught up with, my stuff for taxes, whatever it may be. So there's a lot of that going on for sure.
Here is a great tip that I learned. I can't remember who told me, but I've been using it and it really has helped. So anything that you actually wear in your closet. So now we got into the closet zone. Anything that you wear. So I'm going to use, and it doesn't matter whether it's shirt, pants, dress, whatever. Once I wear it, I flip the hanger around. So you know how when you hang up something, you hang, the curly part that goes on your railing first. I will turn it around. So that tells me I've worn it, I like it, and so on. And then probably the first week in January, I'll start reviewing, because I try to do it actually every 6 months, because that kind of gets you through like almost like a season and a half. So it gives me a better indication. Okay, what here did I not flip around? And then I look at it again, I say, am I really actually going to wear this? Like really think about it. And some I automatically, nope, it's out of style, or I don't like that color anymore, or it doesn't fit the way I like it to fit. So it's a no-brainer. And then there's others I'll say, ooh, I got to give it a little bit more time. But I find that that really has helped. I do it with jeans, I do it with dresses, I do it with, you know, because obviously jeans here, we only really wear jeans, you know, usually at night. I mean, obviously, you know, this area got colder around Christmas time. It's back to like yesterday, I think it got up to 74. Today, I think it's supposed to get up to 78, and then tomorrow it's going to keep rising, which is a good thing. But you know, the mornings start out a little bit cooler. So you know, leggings. I rarely get rid of leggings unless unless they're really worn, because I, like you, I live in them. Whether it's, you know, pickleball skirts or the shorts that are like, you know, the legging shorts, or then regular leggings. So those are like my, you know, all about comfort now. So I love wearing that type of clothing, but like jeans or whatever, those are things that I don't wear as often. So I'm really very picky, except for those two pairs that I have that are actually not on my hanger, they're on my shelf. So, I mean, it's a good way to kind of reevaluate, because sometimes going through clothes can be overwhelming, because again, it might go by season, it might go by color, it might go like, hey, I'm on my health and wellness journey, my weight has fluctuated, or my shape has fluctuated, depending on, you know, my workout. So we go through that. And I think really, you know, it's kind of like that mentality, out with the old and with the new. And the new could maybe mean just less. So, you know, when I say out with the old, in with the new may just be less of than I have, to simplify things. And then the other one that I do is like socks. I'm like a socks person. I love socks. I even sleep in socks. A lot of people don't like to sleep in socks. I do. And I go through socks like a yo-yo. So then, okay, you know, that pair is getting old, or that pair's got a, you know, a little hole in it, or it's out of shape. Or I can't find the other match to it. So like that's the other key. Like if it's a sock that you don't have the match to, or you can't find it, again, I got it on a time limit. It goes into, I have a separate, you know, one socks box kind of thing. And if I can't find it within like two months, because sometimes, you know, it inadvertently gets stuck to something else, or it's in his drawer or my drawer, vice versa. It's got a two month life shelf, and then it's out of here.
Well, you know, the funny thing about socks, talk about nothing. I wear those real heavy winter socks. I have two, okay, like those you can't put together like a regular pair of socks. And I have two non-matching. Like, how does that happen? These are big socks.
I swear the wash machine just like sucks them up.
Well, I told you that funny story that time with the washer down here that we used to have, where I was losing stuff and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I was saying to Eileen one morning, I don't know what it is. I put stuff in the washing machine, I don't get it back. So I had to go out and buy some more stuff. And then no sooner had I said that, like 2 days later, the washing machine craps out. Gary's taking it apart. It's a front loader. So the top part, the inner part, so it was like, if you think of like a half moon there, right. These things shake so much that it opened up this gap. So all of my laundry I was missing fell in that gap.
Isn't that funny? I mean, and that's, you know, we make it a joke, but it's true. It's like I know I had those socks together. Daddy was good about that. He had the longer white socks, or even his dress socks, and he always tied them in a knot, so they wouldn't separate. But you know, it's just one of those weird things where, you know, you just wonder, is the washing machine sucking them up, or where they're going? And in this case, that's exactly what happened. But, we are closing in, reflect. It's always good to reflect, but do it in a positive way. Do it in such a way that adds value to your mindset and that you're going to accomplish something at the end of the day, whether you're discarding, whether you're pausing, or whether you're cherishing, whatever those things are. Do it with reverence, do it with an open heart. And I think when you do that, you will inspire yourself to, oh, it's not such a scary thing, or it gives me confidence to know, I'm doing this for me. Self-care, especially this time of year. And then also the other key piece is when you're feeling, so many people are going through so many losses. This has been, I would say, an exceptional 5 weeks of so many people that we personally know within our family or extended family that have had losses over this time of year, which is, you already have those struggles of people being lonely or remembering people from years past. Now you have all these fresh wounds that are in the mix. And, be kind to yourself, take that moment to say, you know what, maybe I'm doing too much. Maybe I just need to pause me and, be in the moment. And that was one of the great things, being up north. We weren't as busy as we normally are. And at first I thought, oh, it's too bad we can't get to see that person. Too bad we couldn't get to see this person. But it actually worked out well because we were more simplified. We were more present in the moment of what was going on. And I always say the greatest present is actually being present, being mindful of your, putting the phone down and watching and reflecting and be involved in what's going on, really added to the value of this year's Christmas. So I was grateful. We were grateful and thankful for that. I know a lot of people are still traveling. Some people sadly, miss some very important events because of what's going on with the airlines. This too shall pass. I know it's frustrating. We chatted about that, pack your patience, pack your kindness. But for some, it's very serious. They can't find their luggage. Maybe they've got medication in there. Maybe they've got children's medicines in there. So it's a tough situation. And I did travel, packing patience and kindness, but always with my rubber band, like Daddy would wear. I'm wearing the rubber band because, the meaning, our dad loved rubber bands, and he had them all around him all the time to wrap cards or business cards or his wallet, whatever it may be. But for me, it gave another meaning because it really exemplified his life of the rubber band expands, it contracts, it has give, it has take, and you need that when you're traveling in today's society with all the delays, and then with these more serious delays where it really has impacted people on their trips. A lot of people were trying to get home to a funeral. People were trying to get home to weddings, make a connecting flight. So it's tough out there. So if you're one of those that is traveling, it's easier for us to say, we both were traveling, so we know the frustration that goes into that. But at the same time, you have to, somehow find the blessing. You may not even see it in that moment, and it may take you weeks after, the craziness has kind of died down. Maybe it was, you lend a helping hand to somebody else that could not get it together. So, always extend the olive branch of kindness and patience, and that will also ease you into the new year. But we've got so much more to chat about the rest of the week. And we're excited to be back on. We're excited that, getting back into that routine, which, everyone absolutely loves, right? Are you like, it's fun to go away, but it's kind of like fun to get back into your routine.
Oh, absolutely. For sure. I'm grateful and blessed to be back in my own bed.
Right.
I'm in that respectable age bracket, but whatever, it's all good. And on that note, we hope you join us the rest of the week. And I just want to mention something to Carroll-Sue, which I forgot to last week. Last Monday or Tuesday, we hit episode 550, and today's episode will be 52. So with everything this past year, these past few months, we were going to get to do our 500th episode, and we just didn't make it, but that's okay. We're going to be working on our 600th, and I actually have some really good ideas, which we're going to chat about. Who knows, maybe sometime this week, maybe we'll chat about it live with you. On that note, my name is Janis, aka Wellness Diva, and I'm with TwoSistas. And Sista, let's chat about Wealth Wellness Wednesday before we sign off.
Absolutely. So Wealth Wellness Wednesday, we've already talked about the wellness piece to it, making sure we have that really good mindset. But it's also having that mindset with money, having that positive relationship with money. A lot of people don't like to talk about that, but however, we're all working towards those goals, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you work in that 9 to 5, we have goals. I mean, we go to work and we use that to pay our bills, but wouldn't it be nice that we could really inspire and impact other people that may need it? Maybe it's someone in your community, maybe a church, and how cool it would be to just write that check out. Well, it's got to start with, first and foremost, the right mindset with money and partnering with money. So how do you do that? Paying it forward. But the big difference is we're not paying it forward to someone that we know. It's an unsuspecting person. It's the physical act of doing something for someone that's not expecting it, that's not looking for that handout. We all have that person, right? This is not about giving a handout. It's really about just inspiring the act of helping somebody else that wasn't suspecting. And with that, it may spark and inspire them to do the same. So there's so many different creative ways to do it. You could go to your local grocery store, your favorite store, your gas station. Maybe it's, you're in the grocery line and, you just see that sweet couple or somebody behind you or in front of you inspires you. And, you just tell the cashier, here's $10 towards their bill. Here's $5 towards their bill. Maybe it's someone in the coffee line. Maybe it's someone in the gas station, whatever it may be, just do it. And I'm telling you, when you put it out in the universe and you have that mindset, that entrepreneurial mindset, that mindset that you want to impact other people, and money can do that in a good way. Maybe replacing that boiler for that church, right? They need a new boiler. Or maybe, there's a family need within your community. And it's such a good feeling to say, you know what, I can do that. I have the money to do that. Well, in order to, have that mindset to get that to that spot, we've got to take action. So it's really about the action and paying it forward. And that's what Wealth Wellness Wednesday is all about. And we love this day of the week. It's hump day. It's a lot of different days for a lot of people, but it's one of our favorite days of the week. We will see you tomorrow for Trending Thursday. There's so much trending, again, with leaving one year and going into the next. So we've got a few more days to 2022. There are blessings even in this very difficult year. I think most people say 2022 was a very tough year. It was. And sometimes we have to go through the tough years, the tough time, the hardship to really appreciate the goodness that's really, really before us if we are willing to go out and grasp it. So with that, this is Carroll-Sue, aka Naughty Boss, live, wishing you a great Wealth Wellness Wednesday with
TwoSistas. And hey, it's Janis, aka Wellness Diva 5.0. We will see you tomorrow for Trending Thursday. Have a spectacular Wednesday. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.